Joseph Hooker was a Massachusetts native. Hooker lived in Hadley, Massachusetts. When Joe went to school at West Point, he was in the military academy. He also graduated from West Point with high honors. After Joe graduated, he entered the Army as the 1st United States Artillery. While he was in the war with Mexico, he served as a staff officer. After he witnessed the disaster at Bull Run, also known as the Manassas, as a civilian, he wrote a letter to Lincoln complaining of the mismanagement and advancing his own claim to a commission. At one point in the war, he hit his high point. Battles such as 7 Pines, 7 Days, and Yorktown showed how good his leadership was during the war. During this time, he earned his nickname Fighting Joe because he was very aggressive. Joe's last name, Hooker, also described what we call day-ass prostitutes. Later on in the war, Hooker was shot in the Battle of Antietam on September 17, 1862. He survived the shot and came back to war. Hooker ended up losing the Battle of Chancellorsville on May 4, 1863. After General A.E. Burnside resigned, commander of the Army of Potomac, after the Union disaster at Fredericksburg in December 13, 1863, Hooker was appointed to succeed him. He was then named the Union Army General. He was also known for alcohol abuse and the ladies. He kept one eye on the ladies and one eye on the Confederate Army. He should have just kept both eyes on the Confederates. Hooker had other issues too, like disobedience, and was very hard-headed. Although he had a couple of issues, he was a very brave leader and helped the North win the Civil War. Before the battle against Stonewall Jackson, he swore off drinking. He ended up getting defeated by Stonewall Jackson the day after he swore off drinking, which was a bad time to swear off drinking because he lost the battle. He ended up having a stroke in 1868, which led him to take a 2-year leave. He never ended up coming back to the war. Hooker moved to California, where he was in the farming and land business to make money. Later on, he died at Garden City, Long Island on October 31st, 1879. No one knows how he died, but Hooker was buried in Cincinnati, Ohio at a cemetery called Spring Grove.